Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss about functions in Python. Functions. Now let us assume that you are building a program and you have a task of repeating a set of block n number of times. One thing is to do is we just copy paste this code of set of code n number of times, but that is not always feasible. So what we do is we define a function and we write all the set of block of code inside the function, and we just call the function with its name. This will execute all the set of code which is inside the function. So this is very feasible and it makes our task very easy. Let us assume you are working in a software company which is building an ATM software. Suppose there are 5 employees in your company and the company has given you 5 different tasks. One is ATM pin validation, the other is checking balance, the other is drawing money, other is changing number, and so on. So the basic thing is whenever we open the ATM machine, we need to enter the pin and we need to enter the account number. So if this is correct, if this is validated, then we can go into further process. So for ATM pin checking or checking balance or drawing money, the basic thing is we need to validate the account number and pin. See here, this account number and pin validation is repeated every time. So it's no use of writing this code n number of times. So what we do is we write ATM pin validation and account number validation inside a code, inside a function. And we call this function n number of times whenever we use. Suppose we are checking for a balance. So what we do is first we call ATM pin and account validation, and if this is valid, we go inside check balance. The same happens for drawing money and also changing the number. This is about function. Now let me tell you the syntax of function, how functions are written. Okay, now let me tell you about the syntax for a function. In Python, we write a function using the keyword def. This is a reserved keyword which allows the compiler to understand that this is a function. Next, followed by function name, followed by circular brackets and a colon. Why we are writing colon? Because we are not having the function in just one line of code. So whatever may be intended here, this all set of blocks belongs to this function. That's why we write a quotation here, not quotation, colon here. So the syntax is def, which is a reserved keyword, function name followed by circular brackets and a set of code. In other programming languages, instead of def, you will be having integer, float, or void, or any other return type. In function, you can return any type of value. No need to specify prior to the function definition. You can either return integer, string, float, or it's not necessary to return anything, which is a void. In Python, void is nothing but none. So you can return any type of data and not to mention prior the function definition itself. This is about function syntax in Python. And the other thing, suppose you have defined a function. Let me define a function f, and you have written set of code. But how the compiler understands that you need to execute this function? So it is necessary that we call a function. So function call is mandatory in order to execute the function. So what we do is we call a function by simply writing the function name followed by circular brackets. So this will call this function. Let me let me tell you the flow. Suppose you have written a code print hello world and so on, and let me define a function def sum. It will print hello, suppose. So in order to execute this statement, you need to write sum followed by circular brackets. So this will call this function and this statement will be executed. After executing this statement, whenever it reaches either return statement or end of the line, so there is no line prior to this, after this, so it will come to this statement and it will execute all the statements below this. This is the flow of function in Python. Okay, now let's code it in Google Colab. So let me connect this. Okay, now let me write the function. Let me define a function called hello. And what does this hello do? It will print me hello. This function is executed. Okay, let me also print other statement. This is outside a function. And if I run this, what I'll get? I'll get this is outside a function. Why I'm not getting the statement which is inside the function? Because we are forgetting function call. So we need to call a function in order to execute the statement. This is the syntax of function calling. See, when I highlight this, this will be highlighted. And if I run this, hello, this function is executed. What if I write it before this? I'll get hello, this function is executed. This is outside the function. So what happens is, it will Python is an interpreter language, so it will be executing line by line. This was function definition. Then it comes here. Whenever it comes here, it will go inside hello. It will execute all the statements. It will return back to this line, and the next line will be executed. That's why the difference is, if I write hello here, I'll get hello, this function is executed. Down now this is a outside function. See here, the statements has been replaced. So a function call is mandatory for a function to be executed. This is about function. The basic functions which we use already is print function. So what print function will do? It will print the output in a console. You have also seen sort function or sorted function. You have also seen other functions like float, int. All these functions were defined already. Okay, let us write another function like hello. So I got an error. Print. Okay, let me change the function name to a. This is function a. Def b. Print. This is function b. Okay, what if I want to call the function b inside this function a? Let us try this. Let me execute this. I'll get no output because I did not call the function a. Okay, let me call the function a, and what happens? So as soon as I call a, the control goes here. It will print this is function a. Then it calls function b. The control goes here, and it will print this is function b, and it returns to this statement. This was already executed and no other line is here, so it will go to the main call, which is a. That's it. Let me print completed, so you'll understand this. This is function a, then it calls b. This is function b. It returns here, again it returns to this call, and finally it executes print it is completed. This is basic stuff regarding function. The main thing you need to remember is you need to call a function if you define it. So without calling the function, the compiler does not know whether to execute the function or not. So you need to call the function before you execute it. Suppose I'm doing grammatical mistakes or any other thing. Let me write prnt something. And without the function call, let me see what happens. This was executed successfully, but when I do the function prnt, and if I execute this, I'll get an error because name prnt is not defined. So if you are not calling the function, the compiler does not execute the statement. Just it will allocate this block to memory, and whenever the function calls, it will interpret it line by line. So when I execute this statement, let me do it without the function call, and if I execute this, it was executed successfully, but when I call the function, I'll get an error. This is a function a, but name prnt was not